Hello, Morongo Basin and listeners around the world online at Z107.7 FM.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Friday, December 29th, 2023. On a recent episode of the Z107.7 Up Close show, Joshua Tree National Park Superintendent Jane Rogers and the National Park's Emergency Services Program Manager Miles Landry discussed a number of topics and issues with host Gary Daigneault. When asked about unusual rescues in the park, Landry advised visitors to be prepared and keep their wits about them, especially as the use of psychedelic drugs within the park is on the rise.
In your experience in Joshua Tree National Park, any wild and crazy rescues that come to mind?
The ones that come to mind are people that have chosen to take illicit drugs, mushrooms or acid, and they get into a position climbing rocks or go on a hike and they are not able to understand where they are, their surroundings, and they need help for sure. So those are the most memorable because people are not acting how you think they would act. So
I remember there was a incident in the park some years ago, very unfortunate, two young men who chose to come to Joshua Tree National Park and make a very strong tea out of the native datura and subsequently died in the elements. Yeah. It was summer and they just went out in the sun and it was very, very sad. Yeah. So are you warning people perhaps you need to keep all of your wits about you when you are in a dangerous situation?
Most definitely. I don't think we specifically ask about like the illicit drugs or anything, but but we definitely try and raise the awareness of this is a dangerous environment, can be a dangerous environment. There's a lot of hazards out there, so you need to be on top of your game and also to have a plan. If something goes wrong, what is your next step? We definitely tell people that there is an emergency phone at the Hidden Valley Campground. As we all know, there's no cell phone service, it's very limited in the park. So knowing the location of that emergency phone, which goes directly to our dispatch center and they get a hold of us, that's very important to know.
You can listen to their full conversation by downloading the Up Close show as a podcast at our website, Z107.7FM.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. And on the subject of intoxicating substances, 2023 is coming to a close and parties are happening all over the high desert. Online news editor Robert Hayden chimes in with an important celebration reminder.
As we roll into the holiday weekend, Z107.7 wants to remind you that drinking and driving not only puts you at risk for a deadly collision, puts everyone else on the road at risk as well. If you're out this weekend and have a few drinks, find a designated driver or take a rideshare service home. The CHP and BLM have announced DUI checkpoints around San Bernardino County, and driving under the influence doesn't mean just alcohol. Driving impaired by any substance can result in the loss of your license and fines of thousands of dollars, a difficult and potentially deadly way to ring in the new year. Start off 2024 on the right foot by staying safe in the rest of 2023. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
Tomorrow, Joshua Tree's Space Cowboy Books will be hosting a reading from multi-genre publisher Starlight Pulp, who are launching the third issue of their journal featuring some of the finest crime, horror, sci-fi, and Western authors in Southern California. Assignment reporter and recent Starlight Pulp contributor Gabriel Hart gives us Saturday's reading lineup and a little more about this rising publisher, podcaster, and purveyor of pop culture.
Starting at 4 p.m. at the backstage at Space Cowboy Books, Starlight Pulp's editor-in-chief Brian Townsley will introduce 9 authors published in Starlight Pulp's Review third offering. Featured readers include Space Cowboy Books owner Jean-Paul Garnier, Jim Ruland, Craig Clevenger, Aaron Paul Schout, Alex Lussar, and Sean Jacques, just a little over a year old. Starlight Pulp aims to publish, podcast, and promote pulp literature and culture at large. From their imaginative stories, their evocative cover art, merchandise, and interviews with some of today's finest authors. Copies of Starlight Pulp Review and other Starlight Pulp books will be on sale inside Space Cowboy Books. The event is free, all ages, and open to the public. Reporting for Z107.7, this is assignment reporter Gabriel Hart.
To help better understand the amount of unhoused people living in Southern California, the County of San Bernardino is seeking volunteers for its annual point-in-time count coming up in January. Reporter Heather Clisby has more.
If you have concerns about those living amongst us unhoused, the County of San Bernardino would like you to consider volunteering for the annual point-in-time count that can bring attention and resources to an ever-growing population of homeless. The county's Office of Homeless Services is asking residents to get involved by helping to gauge just how many individuals and families are in need of housing and other resources. The PITC is an in-person survey that helps to secure grant funding. Participants must complete a virtual training through the county website. Volunteers will be deployed in teams in early morning hours, and because they will be inputting data from individuals into an app, a smartphone is required. The PITC will take place on Thursday, January 25th. For more info or to register as a volunteer, look for the link in this story at Z107.7fm.com. Reporting for Z107.7, I'm Heather Clisby.
The town of Yucca Valley is bringing back its highly acclaimed fitness program, the Adult High-Low class, following the resounding success of the fall session. Online news editor Robert Hayden rejoins us with more.
Building on the achievements of the previous session, the town of Yucca Valley says that the high-low class remains committed to offering a dynamic and inclusive fitness experience for participants of all levels. The program strikes a balance between high-intensity routines for cardiovascular health and low-impact techniques that prioritize joint health and overall well-being. Participants can choose to enroll in the full 10-week program at the unchanged price of $79 per session or opt in for the convenient daily drop-in rate of $10. The class welcomes individuals of all fitness levels and no prior experience is necessary. The classes will be held at the Yucca Room in the Yucca Valley Community Center every Thursday at 5:30 p.m. For more information, you can visit yucca-valley.org. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
And finally, the Yucca Valley High School Lady Trojan basketball team rebounded from their toughest loss of the season with a 52-36 win against Desert Christian Academy High School in a second-round game at the Rancho Mirage Holiday Tournament last night at Shadow Hills High School in Indio. The Yucca girls jumped on the Conquerors in the first half, pulling out to a 29-6 lead despite still struggling a bit to find their offensive rhythm during winter break. Senior Cadence Tarrant led the team with a game-high 23 points. Junior Taylor Monroy and sophomore Tegan Moon each chipped in 10 points, and junior Cece Gilmore added 6 points for the Lady Trojans. The win improved the team's overall record to 11-3 in the season, with a third-round tournament game set for today versus Brawley High School. The winner advances to tomorrow's pool championship game. Tip-off is scheduled for 1:30 p.m. at Shadow Hills High School in Indio. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear news happening, let us know about it. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News, I'm Jeff Harmetz.